Previously, in my quest to connect all 4 capital cities of the UK and bikepack my way to each one, I had completed the journey from Edinburgh to London. But today I'm setting off on the second leg of this adventure, London to Cardiff. Ahead of me lies just over 200 miles, starting today from Westminster Bridge. My first mission was to navigate England's capital city, taking in a few of the iconic sights along the way, of course. But really my goal was simple, to escape into the countryside as soon as possible.
Slowly but surely getting out of London, and I cannot wait for the peaceful quiet to begin.
As I made my way further from the city centre, I slowly started to feel like I was getting closer to some resemblance of the countryside, along the canal towpaths, with more and more green spaces appearing. And autumn being my favourite time to be on the bike, with the leaves starting to change colour and falling off the trees. It's a great time to ride. Trees might have been full of colour, however, the sky was a dreary grey today.
Well, although I'm not quite out of London, I am away from all the busy stuff now, which is nice, a bit more quieter, and beautiful grey skies upon us today. At least it's not raining, and at least it's not cold. Out of the 3 capital divide routes that I'm eventually going to get round to, the Edinburgh to London, the longest. London to Cardiff, definitely the shortest, and most definitely the easiest. The third stage will be the hardest. Probably not going to be doing that this year because ferries are involved and everything, but this one is the easiest out of the 3. And the hardest would most definitely be Cardiff to Belfast. But on this route, there's lots of flat. The only real hills are around the Ridgeway, so it's pretty easy going. Lots of rivers, lots of canals, so with all the rain we've had, it might be quite muddy. But the goal for today is to get out of London and onto some nice off-road trails into the countryside a bit, towards the Ridgeway if possible, but I don't know if I'll quite get that far.
Seeing the M25 pass overhead meant one thing. I was nearly out of London, or at least past the busiest parts in my mind. I had started winding my way into the woodland surrounding the M25, where it's always a relief to hit the forest trails. The trees muffle the sound of the traffic, creating a quiet escape. But with all the rain England's had over the past couple of weeks, the trails were definitely on the wet side in places, which made things a little bit interesting.
All that rain has got the trails nice and soggy, which is making everything a little bit slower and a little bit more hard work. It's currently about 4:30. I've done about 35 miles. Not bad for a little half day. gonna have to start looking for somewhere to camp because sunset is at like about 6 p.m. right now. We're at that time of the year again. I'm gonna be coming into Swinley Forest. It's like a mountain bike park, so might be able to find somewhere to camp around there. We'll see. Might be a bit busy though. Don't want to be going into the night around Reading and out that way. 35 miles done and 172 to go until we get to Cardiff. Right, 40 miles done for the day. That's enough. And found a nice little woods that should be good to camp out in. I'm probably like, I don't know, 5 miles, 10 miles at most to a place called Bagshot, and then we're into Swinley Forest. Maybe hit some of the mountain bike trails around there, but that's for tomorrow. And hopefully the sun will shine tomorrow. Looked at the weather, and it is meant to be a bit sunnier tomorrow and a very dull grey day today. But gonna set up the tent here tonight. Should be good. Still got about an hour until it gets completely dark. And because I'm in such a built-up area, kind of have to wait around a bit, so just make sure nobody's walking through. But I'm off the trail a bit now, so should be all good. But I'm gonna chill here, have some food. And the only downside to this bit, there's a road over there. It's a little loud, so it's not the most quiet night's sleep, but we are out of London, and that was the main goal for today. So I'm happy about that. Good morning, good morning. That was such a long night. From 6 p.m. to about 20 past 7. That's night time now here in the UK. I did sleep really well though, but I have slept like 12 hours, so I'm feeling very refreshed. Always get a good night's sleep in the woods. Apart from when I set up my tent, I cleared the ground as much as I could, but let's see if I can pick one up without hurting myself. Oh, come here. Oh, ow. The conkers have been falling on the ground, and they're little shells, they're little spiky shells. There was a couple of them underneath my tent when I got in, so it was a little prickly at first, until I could sort of manage to move them out. As today we are now more into the countryside, we're outside of the M25. I'm gonna have some more trails, some more countryside. I'm gonna head to some mountain bike trails now and have some fun.
When I left my wooded shelter this morning and started my second day on the trails, the sunrise behind me really stopped me in my tracks. I've had the chance to experience incredible sunrises before, all over the country, but this morning, this sunrise just stopped me. The morning mist rolling in between the trees. We might be saying goodbye to the summer, but as winter gets closer, the sunrises become even more breathtaking. And still in the flatter section of the country, I would have an incredible morning, pedalling my way through the thousands of trees on my way to Swinley Forest, where I would enjoy some nice easy flowy single track mountain bike trails. Just what I needed on this perfect morning.
What a morning. It has been absolutely beautiful. Just having a bit of blue sky can just put life into the legs. Yesterday was so grey, today it started to get grey again, but this morning it was blue and beautiful. I've just come through a place called Crown something, I've forgotten already, and gonna be heading around Reading and then up onto the Ridgeway, which would be nice, which is probably the only really challenging section of this route, because it is pretty much flat through the Ridgeway, and then it's flat again as we head towards Bath and Bristol and Wales. But while the sky is kind of blue and that cloud above me isn't raining, I'm going to try and stop, try and find somewhere nice to sit and have a bit of breakfast. What a great morning though.
Sometimes you have to let your inner child out to play, and this morning I did just that. With pizza for breakfast, I practiced my Superman on a zip line I found before getting back on the trails. The sun was still beaming behind me and the trails were a great fun, if not a little slippery. The puddles felt more like little lakes, but it was a blast to be out riding under this sun. Spotting the first sign to Wales was the perfect reminder that I was heading in the right direction and getting ever closer to a country with some very hard to pronounce names. But then again, you are reading this right. I would eventually arrive in Reading.
Making good progress, done about 40 miles today, heading towards Pangbourne right now and then Goring and then up onto the Ridgeway. It has been one hell of a muddy ride this morning. I am absolutely covered in mud and the trails have been nice and slippery. It's been dry for a couple of days, it hasn't rained, but the trails are still wet, which often means when you get to the Ridgeway it's going to be very claggy, gonna cling to the bike. So I'm hoping it's dry enough that it's not like that, but not wet enough that it's like an ice rink, because the Ridgeway chalk can really be like that. And right now I can feel a few splatters of rain. No! come through Goring. Done about 45 miles and it's currently 3 p.m. so about 3 and a bit hours until sunset. Just getting the climbing legs in gear now because heading up onto the Ridgeway. Just very beautiful out here right now though. Looks like I'm gonna have a lush evening with the sunshine, and hopefully that means a great sunset is on its way for tonight. To camp along the Ridgeway somewhere. Kind of want to get towards the end, towards Amesbury. Amesbury? Is it Amesbury? I don't know. Because I have a little camp spot there, which would be ideal, because then it'd be a nice easy start to tomorrow as I head off of the Ridgeway. However, I am kind of going in the wrong direction for the Ridgeway. It is kind of more of a grind this way, but the sun is shining and fingers crossed it's not an ice rink up there or a claggy mess. Right, on to the Ridgeway we go. Happy, happy days. 45 miles done, about 130 and a bit to go until we get to Cardiff. Nice. Climbing legs at the ready.
Reaching the Ridgeway meant it was time to hit the highlight of this route. This ancient pathway, often called Britain's oldest road, has been used for thousands of years. It's pretty amazing to think that I'm following in the footsteps of the Neolithic people, Romans, and countless others who have traversed this landscape. It's always something that gets me thinking when on these ancient trails. What were these ancient travellers thinking? Maybe they were thinking just like me, about all the people before them and all the people after them.
Garmin's turned black, so must mean one thing: the sun has set. It was a bloody beautiful sunset, absolutely beautiful, but I've got 115 miles to go. I've done about 65. I don't think I'm going to make it to where I was hoping to tonight, or if I am, I'm going to have to go into the night a bit. The Ridgeway really does offer some beautiful views, but I really do need to find somewhere to camp. It's been a long grind going this way along the Ridgeway, much harder than the other way, much slower. I think I've probably got another maybe 10 miles, maybe 15 until I actually get to where I wanted to camp, and with how long everything is taking, I'm not sure I'll quite make it. So if I can find somewhere before that, that's what I'll do.
Good morning, good morning. Last night went on for a little bit, luckily not too long, just after darkness, which just comes around so fast. But I managed to set up the tent in a nice, beautiful wooded area along the Ridgeway. And last night I thought it was raining for a while. I got woken up a few times, but it turns out I was just getting rained on by leaves. So that's better than rain, I guess. And it is so beautiful in here. The trees are turning orange and it's nice. And the sun is rising somewhere over there. The sky is nice. It's clear again today. It's looking like we've got another beautiful day. And the temperature at the moment, I don't know what's going on. It's like last night I think it got down to about as low as 8. In the day yesterday it was like 15, 16 degrees. It's practically summer. I'm going to get packed up and on our way. Today I would like to hit that Welsh border at least, maybe more. We've got just over 100 miles to go. Let's see what today has in store for us. It's looking like a very, very beautiful morning though. Just want to get out of the tree cover and see it. Packing up my tent, it looked like I was going to have a clear day ahead, but once I left the tree cover, I was thrown into an eerie morning with low clouds drifting above. The first thing I stumbled across was Wayland's Smithy Barrow, an impressive long barrow steeped in history. Dating back to the Neolithic period, this burial mound is about 5,000 years old and is believed to have been a place of reverence for ancient communities. The legend surrounding it suggests that Wayland, the Saxon god of metalworking, would forge weapons for the brave who dared to leave him offerings at the barrow. Continuing through the foggy morning, I found myself climbing higher and higher, and occasionally I would break through the mist to catch a glimpse of the sun. It felt like I hadn't stopped climbing since getting onto this ridgeway. Would continue to ascend until reaching Barbary Castle, a stunning Iron Age hill fort. From ground level, it's hard to picture what it looks like, but from above, it's truly something else.
Wow, I'm saying goodbye to the ridgeway now. Oh god, this road is muddy. Look at it. Been an interesting morning. Just like yesterday, very muddy, very slidey in places. Very beautiful and very grey all at the same time. But I've got maybe 1 or 2 climbs to get over. And then I'll be heading along the canal towards Bath, and then a nice old railway line cycle route from Bath to Bristol. So after the next couple of climbs, today should be very easy, very flat, very pedally and fast going. So hopefully should be able to make it across the bridge into Wales. The only problem is with that is once I get across the bridge, I'm following the coast, the river, the estuary, whatever you call it. So there isn't really many places to camp, but there's one spot I've camped before, literally on the outskirts of Newport, which might be okay, but it does mean getting to Newport. But we'll figure that out later. Gonna get over these hills, then descend, find something for breakfast before heading along the nice flat pedally canals.
After a quick stop at Avebury, I would start my last couple of climbs onto the Wessex Ridgeway, a place filled with some stinging climbs and incredibly beautiful views over the Wiltshire countryside. Wiltshire has some of the best bikepacking trails around, just if you didn't know. After a bit of climbing and descending, I finally found myself back on some flat terrain at the Kennet and Avon Canal. I say flat, but the Cane Hill locks are quite the challenge for anyone on a canal boat at least, with a rise of over 29 feet across 16 locks. I think I'll stick to cycling. I would head onto the famous Bristol and Bath Railway, a 15-mile, 24-kilometre off-road cycle route that was once part of the Great Western Railway, connecting Bath and Bristol in the 19th century. The old railway infrastructure is still visible today, making for some easy riding, just what I needed, if I was ever going to make it to the Welsh border and cross that bridge. However, with my late start and the sun setting so early, I seriously underestimated just how far I needed to ride today. I was never going to make it before dark. So I had to find somewhere to set up camp just on the outskirts of Bristol. Luckily, I found a great little woodlands where I was treated to an incredible sunset overlooking the city.
It feels so good to just be able to see the top of the bridge. I'm so close to Wales now. It's felt like a long old slog to get here this time, but we're so close. About 40 miles to go though. Gonna be arriving in Wales by the looks of it, with this glorious sunshine. What the hell? That's not normal. I'll take it though.
With just under 40 miles to go and the bridge to Wales in sight, I was definitely in the mood to pedal fast and make it to Cardiff, the capital of Wales, before it got dark tonight. Luckily for me, the remainder of my ride would be swift as I cruised along the flatlands by the Severn Estuary. There wasn't many challenges to get myself to the capital as the wind was pushing me along, but the easy final miles meant I could enjoy the end to an awesome little adventure from one capital to another, leaving me with just the rugged Welsh landscape to conquer next, if I'm ever going to make it to Belfast, that is.